I lose, I hit the floor. My good intentions are tested soon as I'm out the door. And I move in circles, there's no forward steps for me. No, 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 no. Just one big cycle of predictability. This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm. No in between. I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I'm gone. I laugh so hard that when I lose, I hit the cold dark below. Don't you know? My good intentions are tested soon as I am out of the door. Oh, oh, oh. And I move in circles, there's no forward steps for me. Don't you know? Don't you know? No, no. Just one big cycle of predictability. Don't you know? No, 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 no. This is just me. A sound, a style, a groove, a rhythm. No in between. I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I go. So this is just me. It's a sound, it's a style, it's a groove, it's a rhythm. No in between. Well, I don't do half say what you're given. I'll move on, yeah, I'll move on. 1 minute, then I go.
Right, hello everybody. It is so good to be here with you again today. You are watching the Coffee Shop Conversation Show for entrepreneurs around the world. I am Nestine.
And that would make me Peter.
And we have been doing this for an entire 2 years now, just over 2 years, guys. And we're still here with our very best friends in the entire world. And they just happen to be the most amazing entrepreneurs from all around, like everywhere. And I'm blown away right now when I'm looking at these names, the people that are joining us for the show today. And I'm sure you are as well. Just before we get to that, so we're going to be talking about Fempreneur Stories and what makes a great Fempreneur story. And we're going to be telling you how you can tell your story and benefit from the whole process. So that's really, really exciting. So stay tuned for that. Just before we go into that, we have something really, really awesome to do.
Oh, yes.
We are going to be awarding a massive prize tonight. It is the coaching bundle. Heart, mind, everything sorted. We dare you coaching bundle. Okay, and it is valued at just, I think, under $500 US, and it's absolutely amazing. We're the person that wins this coaching bundle is going to check in with Coach Kathy. They're going to check in with Marlena. They're going to check in with Mr. Levy. Check in with Rita Skuman. It's going to be absolutely, absolutely amazing, like a life-changing experience waiting for one lucky entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's your only line.
Yeah, that was
Thank
my
you.
only line.
Thank you for
I'm sorry,
contributing.
but that's just really impressive. I mean, you got to love a space like that. And the nice thing about this space is that let's just let a gift be a gift, not a hook, not a draw into a buy, not a draw into a sale, none of that nonsense. A true gift.
So, Kathy, since you are here with us tonight, Coach Kathy, let me put you on the spot. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're so excited to sponsor this bundle to one lucky entrepreneur?
Wow. I guess I'm excited because, I do. And I could speak the same for every coach that's doing this, is we love seeing people's lives change for the better. And what's really cool is that by offering this is we just sometimes coaching is not that first priority, especially when we're entrepreneurs and we need to budget out where do we spend money. And what's really cool is we get to offer this up to people and help somebody and see them excel in their business and find out where they're getting stuck so they can just naturally move through it and not only just change their professional lives and their business, but also change their personal lives too.
That is stunning. Thank you so much, Kathy. And I just know that you coaches are going to change one lucky entrepreneur's life forever tonight. So, yeah, we have the wheel prepped. Before we actually spin the wheel and award this prize, what I wanted to just quickly do was hand over to Marty, because Marty is one of those people that have won so many prizes on this program since we started the program. And for those of you maybe joining us for the first time, it's about putting sponsors, so people that are able to sponsor stock, sponsor time, sponsor whatever they have,
services,
to other entrepreneurs around the world. It's about putting them in touch with the entrepreneurs that are willing to work for and share the movement in order to get those prizes. So the people that participate in this program are very, very, very special to us, because they are our brave economic warriors. They take this movement out there and they like slap the links all over, and they're helping us find all the entrepreneurs in the world that need our help and that need the sponsors' help. So Marty is one of those very, very special people. So Marty, can you please give us some tips?
Okay, so the first thing I would say, listen to when Nestine is speaking, because every time you talk, you like points, and my ears go, what? Points, wow. And if Nestine says comment, then I go comment on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. And if she says you have to use, I can't remember what the word was the other day, I think onion or pineapple or something, I make up somewhat a story with pineapples. So that's the first thing. So Nestine likes giving away points. So that's the first thing I listen to when Nestine is talking. The other thing is, on LinkedIn, it is so easy to actually find an event on LinkedIn. And if I may share my screen, just move this out the way.
Please go for it. We can't wait to see, because I don't know, those of you that have seen the leaderboard, Marty has like 55 points. The rest of us are like, you know, a respectable 30.
So one of the way is by using my most trusted. There's no other way I actually know how to invite people. I'll get to that now. Let's do the exciting part. So if I'm looking for an event, and let's look at my most trusted. Oops, you can spell, that will help. And go to events. And there's one coming up in November. So I click on that. And I have to register. Okay. Let's submit. Add to calendar, Outlook. Okay. While that's going on the background. Okay, now I can invite. Okay, so I go auto scroll. And it will start scrolling. Okay, and that's normally when I go and make myself organic, well, coffee. Okay, and then by 1,000 people, I will send that. Okay, so for now I'm going to stop. And it actually not surprising, but interesting how many people have actually come back and said, oh, wow, because you get a notification every time someone accepts the invitation. Okay, so 99 people invited. Here we go. Okay, so the other thing is, if I go to my most trusted and I go to the last search page, and I want to connect with this person. Okay, because it's all set up in my messaging, I literally can go and click send. And it gets added to my most trusted. Easy peasy. I like stuff that works easy peasy. I don't like long drawn out stuff. Yeah, and if there is no connect option, there's what's the other option? can't think now. But then I literally go into the person's profile and I go more and I go send them a connect here or yeah, depending on what their profile is set, how their profile is set up.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Marty. And that is how you get your link out there. That's beautiful. So let me just remind you, ladies and gents, if you are looking for said link, so this is a wheel that we will give away shortly. All you need to go to exploreprotech.com and it will open up our web page, and then you click on the win page. And once you're on the win page, you can just scroll down a little bit. You'll see all of the prizes coming up, including the very, very awesome prize we're announcing tonight. And then over here, it will ask you to just enter your email, your name and your email. And as soon as you enter it, you get your own unique referral link. And then that is what Marty uses when she sends it out on LinkedIn. And it is so easy. And you know what? While you are doing this, you're actually practicing your lead generation.
I was gonna say,
Skills.
yes, we've set this up within our community. Yes, learning these skills teach how to drive traffic, how to gain an audience. So these things that you're actually doing, yes, you're entering a competition. Yes, you're becoming part of a movement. Yes, you're doing something to save the global economy. You're also learning an important skill set on how you can actually generate leads for your own business. Mm-hmm. So this is a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, so that's where you'll see Marty and her 52 points, and then you can check the leaderboard every time. So once you sign up, it'll show you. So it shows that I'm currently in 27th position, which I'm fine with because I can't win anything anyway. But anyway.
Actually, you know what, come to think of it, there were a few of those prizes I really wanted to
I want all of them. They're really good. So anyway, so you'll see like tonight, what we currently have is you need to have 35 points in order to get entered into tonight's competition and the next one, okay? And then every point over 35 gets you another entry. So you'll see if we go to the wheel, those are the people that are actually on the wheel. It's people that have 35 and over points. So, on that note, shall we just spin it and see who gets the awesome, amazing, incredible coaching bundle?
Spin the wheel.
Let's do it! Congratulations, Susan! Where are you? Where are you? You're here!
I worked quite hard for that prize.
Well done. Well done.
Are you happy?
Extremely happy. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's awesome. There you go, sponsors. So Susan is the lucky entrepreneur that you're going to be working with. And
bring her back to us in one piece, please.
Bring her back to us upgraded and in one piece. I know that she is going to just make the most of this thing. Remember, we're going to invite you back as well in December, ladies and gents, so that you can come and share with us how much progress Susan has made because of your prize. So we can put all of that out there as social proof for you as well. So thank you for being one of our amazing sponsors. So thank you so much. That is us having talked way too much.
Way too much.
Quickly, Janine, if people want to win this next prize, do you have any tips for them? Because you're also one of the people that are like way up there. You've just been around. You were the first person onto the leaderboard, if I remember. Yeah, that's true, Janine style. What's your tips for people that want to get in on this and want the points?
Participate, participate, participate. It is one word. Everything is done for you. You get the link, and all you have to do is share and click, and boom, magic happens. It's one word, is participation. It can't be that simpler. Between Nestine and Peter, what you guys are doing, and it's exactly what Marty says. Listen when Nestine's talking about certain things, because there's keywords in there that you can also use. And once again, storytelling works when it comes to marketing. So create a story that maybe relates to you as a person that can actually contribute to the prize as well, because the two and two go hand in hand. But the one word I can say is just participate. It's all there on a silver platter. Don't be stupid. Keep it simple.
I love it. Thank you so much, Janine. Okay, and Janine and Marty, by the way, have been like entrepreneurs that have won in this grand scheme of things, but they are part of the amazing bundle of virtual assistants that are sponsoring the next prize. So if you're sitting here and you're like, well, that's great, Nestine, that prize is gone, like now what? Okay, so are you holding on to your seats? The next prize is literally 5 to 7 hours of virtual assistant services for you, for your business. I mean, if you're like going like, yeah, I don't really need that, then I am not sure if you're an entrepreneur. Who doesn't need 7 more hours in their actual business? And it's going to be Marty, it's going to be Somerville, it's going to be Janine, it's going to be Susanne, and all the amazing
Some of the best of the best.
virtual assistants from Explore Van that's going to be delivering this service. So if you want in on it, now is a great time to get in, get your 35 points up there, and who knows, maybe next time we'll be sharing the love with you.
Yeah, but let's put the thought of the prize aside for a second. Joining this space is about joining a movement. It's about showing support. It's about supporting those around you. It's about becoming part of a community. If you just happen to win the prize, well, then you're just lucky. But the prize is not the point. The prize that you get is not the main prize. The main prize is being in a space where there are people that are like-minded, that are around you, that you can communicate with, that you can talk to, that they can talk to you, where you can show each other support. It's about joining the community and joining the space. That's the real prize. So we have fun.
So on that note, so next up, like literally, let's just get to the actual coffee shop show, which is us like chatting with all of you amazing humans, because there's so many amazing humans here. So what happened was, you guys know that we're doing the Fempreneur course on the back of this Fempreneur community. We're putting it out there to help Fempreneurs, and you've been listening to us for like 6 months talking about it. So yeah, that course is coming. Great news. BackaBuddy and Sun the Fund have signed up. They are ready to support our Fempreneurs with personal campaigns, crowdfunding campaigns. So if you don't have the money for the $1,500 course, that is okay. They're going to help you raise the funds to get the coaching that you need so that we can all save the global economy one small step at a time. So on that note, that's why we're having our conversation tonight on what makes a great story. Because what they are going to be doing is their PR department is going to be working with your stories. They say like they can literally help anybody crowdfund, but it's about the story. It's about telling the entrepreneurial story, the actual human story that people can connect to. Like Susanne started this call when we weren't even online yet. And she said, well, I read your story, Nestine and Peter.
And hopefully she recovers.
It's about telling those stories. Every entrepreneur has a story. So now tonight, what we want to discuss with you, friends from all around the world, is what makes a great entrepreneurial story. Because the more stories we can get, the more funds we can raise, the more lives we can change. So if you are happy to participate in this conversation, please put up your hand like this, and me and Peter will shut up and you can start talking and sharing with us, because I know you have so much to say. So please go for it. Let's see, we have our first taker. Yay, Nikki, let's go with you. What makes a great story?
I have the best story ever. So I'm in Dubai at the moment, and I tripped over somebody's feet in Starbucks last week, and ended up having a 3-hour conversation with him. He's a young man from Algeria, and it turns out he's a social media marketer, and he's, trying to get work. And I was like, why don't we just, because I do a bit of, that as well. And so we started a digital agency, and we've already got a domain registered and a Facebook page, and I got us a couple of clients here in Dubai already. And so he's North Africa, I'm South Africa in Dubai, and he's just like, yeah, he's just the nicest guy. He's 28. He's so focused, and obviously I'm not, so he keeps me on track. And yeah, it's really exciting actually. So yeah, he's a really cool guy. So he's a cool guy. So he fits in the Fempreneur thing, and he wants to help people. Like he wants to help people, and we called it Gizbo, Gizbo, or GYSBO. Get your small business online.
That is
To
so cool.
help
So you
the-
literally tripped over your business partner. That's
Yeah.
a really cool story. I like
Yeah.
that. It's those
Yeah.
cool little moments and make
Yeah.
it real, right?
Yeah, and we went to our first networking event here in Dubai last couple of days ago, and yeah, we picked up some clients, but it was more about, I kept saying to him, it's more about what can we do for you? How can we help you? Don't talk about us. Let's find out about them. And the more we did that, the more they wanted to know what we were doing. And we didn't have like anything except like a QR code. And yeah, so he wants to, yeah, it's about getting the little guy online and helping us little guys at the same time. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Awesome.
Thank you, Nikki. And that is Nikki Palesa Marshall. And your business name is?
I guess it's Gizbo now, GYSBO. Get your small business online.
Brilliant. Love it. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Thanks.
Let's move to Marty. Marty, what makes a great entrepreneurial story?
Nestine, I think a couple of things. First one being authentic. Obviously, you want to be real because people relate to that. And not shying away from sharing your challenges, because we all go through challenges at different stages. We all go through different seasons. And when you can show someone going through a challenge that I came through a challenge, and look, we're not to brag, but be, what's the right word?
Supportive.
There you go. Thank you, Peter. Being supportive, and you know what, if I can do it, I'm just a normal person, then so can you. I mean, what makes us different than anybody else who's a millionaire? They're normal people like the rest of us. It's a mindset thing. So yeah, being authentic and share.
Technically, Mati, I think the difference between a millionaire and me is just short of $1 million.
And that is Marty Cronier, and your business name is?
Complete VA as a virtual assistant, and the founder of VICE, or the Virtual Assistant Institute of South Africa.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Marty.
I like
Amazing contribution. Keep it inspiring.
The next person coming up, we had an amazing conversation, so I'm actually quite curious to hear what he has to say.
Let's hear it, Matthew, for the
Matthew.
first time ever on the Coffee Shop Conversation show. What makes a great entrepreneurial story?
Yeah, well, it's not being afraid to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. Tell your deepest, darkest moment to what your success is. Don't be afraid, because someone could relate with, struggling with PTSD, or from being, an alcoholic or a drug addict, to rebounding, to going and fighting past that struggle. And like Peter and I had that conversation, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've had 4 or 5 different companies. Not every single one of them has worked. Let that be known. Let people know, hey, yeah, I started a company, it failed. I learned this from it, and morph. Just be willing to pivot and morph and tell everybody, hey, this is exactly who I am and what I can offer, and this is what I've learned.
It was an amazing conversation.
I can hear why. I think that's so valuable, Matthew. The vulnerability, like be prepared to share the vulnerable moments, because people can relate.
Exactly. And, our company is called Cowboy Mac, which is our digital marketing business consulting firm. But like Peter and I talked about, my wife and I, she has a company called Resilience Wellness. And we're going to kind of pair our loves. I'm a vet. I'm a Marine Corps vet during the Afghan and Iraq war. And I've lost a lot of brothers. We're starting a nonprofit, which is why Peter actually invited us to this, called Valhalla Can Wait. And we're going to be bringing alternative modes and modalities to combat the war on suicide that the veterans are fighting right now. So
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I love
I
that.
think that's absolutely brilliant.
That is amazing.
Absolutely brilliant.
I think that's also important. That adds to the story. If you can tell people how are you now taking what happened to you or your deepest, darkest moments and bringing light to the world. That's what people sign up for. And I think like the way headlines are going, we can all use more hope, like more hopeful stories. Like finally someone's doing something about that. Thank you so much. So thank you so much, Matthew. That was such a valuable contribution. Really appreciate that.
you're welcome.
Let's go to Lusecha. Lusecha, your name literally means light. So what is it? I'm curious. What makes a great entrepreneurial story? What in there is it like? If I read this, I will literally not put it down.
All right, I'm going to tell you a short story of what happened to me. I think it was 2 weeks ago. A company, well, I joined some networking group from Zambia, and they connected me with a company from Canada. So this company wants to bring in products into South Africa for me to distribute in South Africa, and ask them, what are you going to invest in South Africa? And they said to me, we'll build a warehouse. And I said, no, that's not enough. If you are not going to invest, truly investing for the community to benefit, then I'm sorry, I don't want to join you. They asked me, what are you talking about? I said, well, if you can build factories where you will use our local products to manufacture your things that will be relatively user-friendly for our people down here, then I'm not interested. They said to me, well, that's going to take a long time. And I said, well, I've got a long time to wait. So for me, an entrepreneur doesn't think about himself, but thinks about the community around them. It's not about what can I get out of it. It's how can I build it for the community around me to benefit. And for me, that's what an entrepreneur, a beautiful, successful entrepreneur story would be like. Oh yeah, and Nikki, I'm wondering why you are Nikki Palisa Marshall, because I've got a friend called Liesel Dineo Marshall. Don't know why. Anyway, thanks guys.
Thank you so much, Lusecha. I think that is so valuable, and really, we all need to be reminded of that. You know, it's natural sometimes to kind of get into this normal mode where I guess like mainstream marketing mode, where it's like I am so successful and I am so amazing and I know all the secrets, and that's why you need to get your stuff from me. But it's like if you're going to be telling an entrepreneurial story, people want a bit more than that.
Well, if you think about it, if everything that ever started all relates back to a community, why not go back to the beginning? Because if you want support as an entrepreneur, do your venture that it lines up with the community, and you will find your support. It cannot get the thought process cannot get easier than that. Build for the community, and you will get the community support. And if you don't have a community, well, get one, build one, make one, find people, have conversations. We have one.
I just want to say
there are other people. There are other people on this very call that also have communities. Find one that works for you.
I was just going to say, it's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come, right?
Amazing. Let's go to Janine. Janine, I'm so curious to hear what you have to say on this topic. What makes a great entrepreneurial story?
Oh, so many things. Actually,
If it's sitting up like a potato, I have to know. Is that like?
but you know what? How did you become successful? By making good decisions. How did you make good decisions? Well, through experience. How did you get experience? By making bad decisions.
Love it.
But the point I'm trying to make here as well is to stay humble and also really, really try to throw the box away. Don't think outside the box, just throw the box away and get out of that comfort zone, because once you're out that comfort zone, the magic and the fairies and everything just comes together, and your business is overflowing with so many opportunities when it comes to having the right people behind you and finding the tribe that supports your own values. If you have that, that will make more stories for us to share and actually save each entrepreneurial business at a time. I'm Janine from Jelani Sales, your virtual sales office.
The lady that's not scared of a phone.
Not at all. And guys, like, I have to tell you this about Janine. Like, when we first met, okay, two things happened. One, she signed up nearly every single person we had in the network because she's Janine. Like, she's a virtual sales assistant. That's what she does. But second, we dared her to dress up like a potato when she was going to meet one of our members, because it's just a joke that we have with him, okay? He doesn't like potatoes.
He has a phobia of potatoes.
So we got Janine to dress up like a potato. It worked. So I feel like that is part of your entrepreneurial story, Janine. And I just love knowing that amazing supportive energy is there from you. And that's obviously why the virtual assistants in your network are doing so well, together with that amazing supportive energy that Somerville brings as well. I think the two of you are such a dynamic duo, and with members like Marti, they're supporting you, and like Susan supporting you. I mean, we have the actual director of the Virtual Assistant Institute of South Africa in the network. Like, how intense is that? That's amazing. We have Mickey there. We have so many beautiful members. So I am going somewhere with this. I'm sorry, I'll stop now. But my point is, if you know a virtual assistant, like, one of the best, most amazing things that you can do for that VA is to put them in touch with Explore Van. So that is going to be our bonus point opportunity. So if you've been doing what everyone has been saying and listening to what I'm saying, thank you guys, no pressure at all. This is the bonus point opportunity, okay? Find a virtual assistant, yeah? Give them the Explore Protech booking link. Tell them they must come and meet us so they can date the tribe and become part of Explore Van. And I'll give you 10 bonus points for every single virtual assistant that you put in touch with us. 10! Okay.
Not every successful one, just everyone.
Just everyone. We can make them successful. We can work with what you got.
We will do the rest. We will do the rest. Bring them to us. We will do the rest. Don't worry. We've got this.
Amazing. Okay, on that note, let's go to Hendrik. Hendrik, I'm very keen to hear what you have to say, because you're one of the masters in storytelling. So,
thank you very much. Yeah, this is very much what we do, is telling or helping entrepreneurs to tell their stories through the content that they produce. And that's, of course, the business that we're in. So I come from a theatre background and have worked in the arts for about 40 years. So I know a lot about storytelling. And I'm sorry to say that the traditional stories that we see on stages or on movies don't really work for entrepreneurs. One of the most boring stories I ever heard an entrepreneur tell me was how she grew up on a farm in the Karoo, and the dad, and the this, and the that, and then she did this. Like 2 hours later, like, what is the point of this story? It really isn't a timeline story that an entrepreneur needs to tell. You need to have a culmination of key moments, of the lessons that you've learned, of the ways that you've pivoted because of those mistakes, as Janine said earlier, the motivations, the frustrations, and the successes. So there are some key elements of storytelling that you could use. Every good story has a hero, an antagonist, an awareness, a transformation. So those are the things that you can use. The hero could be what you want to your story to accomplish, your product, your team. Who's the hero of the story? Who really brought the change? The antagonist can be the force against which your story pushes. What obstacles did you overcome? Maybe you failed a few times before you found your niche. Then there's the awareness that the moment that you found that solution, or where was a turning point for you, where you really went, aha, now I finally understand what it is that people want. And it can be a very powerful moment, which will tell a very powerful story through the information. And then there's the transformation. How did you change? How did your company change? How did your product or service change? And how did your clients change? So that all is stitched together with passion. What are your unique gifts? What is it that makes you get up every morning to do what you do? So there are also different kinds of stories you can tell. The origin story, where you started, stories that inspire and lead your team or your customers, stories that can strengthen your team, and stories that create a brand that sells. And I'm sorry, Marlon is not here. He's an expert in that, is finding the brand story and stitching that together for you. So I think an entrepreneur's got to be very careful when telling a story so that it makes the biggest impact. Now, we've got all this modern media that we can use, and certainly a podcast is a great way to tell a story, also in episodic form. You can do over several episodes, you can stitch that story together. And that's really what we're here to do, is to help people to tell their stories, creating their content using a podcast. First approach, I'm Hendrik from Baird Media.
Thank you so much, Hendrik. I'm just trying to make enough notes. I'm like, can you repeat that?
Yeah, please don't make Nestine make notes, because she tends to make notes and draw pictures over my notes, and then I've got to decipher what my notes were. So it gets a bit starting to look like code.
That was very, very valuable, though, Hendrik, and from a true story master. So I believe if anyone needs help with their stories, definitely speak to Hendrik. He's obviously studied the stuff, and there's obviously more than just telling it. but I like what you said, stitch everything together with passion. That always works.
And you can do magic, really.
You can do magic while you give us storytelling tips. How amazing would that be for the rest of us?
You'll make me disappear. Okay.
Thank you, Hendrik. Do you want to introduce our next guest?
I would love to introduce our next guest, because I think this next person, we met not too long ago, and the conversation was extremely inspiring. And I think what I find inspiring is the fact that when you walk a particular road, there is always somebody ahead of you, and there's always somebody behind you. And if you have that mentality of you always have your hand reached out, and you always are creating a space where those that are behind you are able to follow you, and then those in front of you have their hands reached out too. So I think when you've got that sort of situation, it creates that there is unity, and that there's community straight off the bat. So Teresa, I would love to hear your thought process on this.
I just like your glasses. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm blind without them. So, wow, what an amazing group here, and tough act to follow, Hendrik. I loved the whole synopsis you gave there. That was so brilliant. I love this topic. I was actually teaching an advanced workshop on this specific topic all weekend, actually. So I'm like, I got to get together with Hendrik, because he and I do a lot of the same topics. But I love the common theme that everyone's raised here, which is that the best stories represent a victory, and the deeper the vulnerability, the deeper the intensity of the failures that we've had to overcome in order to have that victory, the better the story, and I think that's really what people want to hear. They want to hear real human beings that have been in the muck and the mire, that have been veterans, that have, lived through illness, fatigue, that have taken on corporations in Africa. I loved your story, Lutfiya. and had a victory over it, a victory not only in the moral sense, but a victory in the economic, in the community sense, you know. And so I think there's just been such powerful sharing here this morning. It's actually really cool to be amongst this group. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, what an absolute pleasure.
It's amazing to have you here. I mean, and what awesome tips you've given us.
And just your name and your business name and what you do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Teresa de Grosbois. I'm the founder and chair of the Evolutionary Business Council, which is a community of thought leaders and emerging thought leaders from all over the world who are dedicated to creating a more conscious, sustainable planet.
Bam.
Brilliant. That means in normal people speak, everybody needs to make friends with Teresa.
Thank you.
So again, let me just remind you, I don't think I've actually said that yet, but if you are here on the show, please just pop your LinkedIn link into the chat for us. Remember, we're going to be linking everybody's LinkedIn links in the description on the actual YouTube live. So you guys, if you want to go have coffees with any of these people, if you want to make friends, you're welcome to. They are the best of the best. We have chosen them and they're happy to put their links out there.
Well, this is kind of the point of the show, where we create a space where entrepreneurs from around the world have questions, and we have the ability to give them some answers. So if you're in the audience, do yourself a favor. We pull those people all into one place. If you can relate to someone, reach out.
All you have to do is go to the description, click on the links and say, hey, I saw you on the show, the coffee shop show. Yeah, can we please have a coffee? And they'll be more than happy to coffee you. You'll have to make your own coffee, depending on where you live. But let's go over to Mr. Levy. Mr. Levy, super keen to hear from you. What makes a great entrepreneurial story?
Sure. I think everything that everybody's already said, Nestine. But, you know, just listening to everybody, I know, you know, there's no straight line to the top. There were not even Richard Branson, if you read his biography, and all these top guys, you know. And our biggest learnings, if you go out and ask, go speak to people on the street, they're not even entrepreneurs, and ask just normal people where their biggest learnings came from. They'll tell you when they hit rock bottom, the mistakes they made, and yet as entrepreneurs, we're scared to go there. So I think, you know, what makes a real entrepreneur is when you're able to just own your own story and tell it. But not, there's no just, you can't, if someone only tells about the highs, they haven't experienced entrepreneurship. Well, I'll challenge them to that, honestly. It's a tough journey, and that's how we learn and grow. And it's about risks, and it's about, I think you mentioned it, stepping into your vulnerability. Something that I learned the hard way, because early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I thought I was bulletproof. The universe came around and told me that I'm not. And I went into a place of, but it was my greatest space of learning. It was a huge turning point for me that I'll share with you. So I went into depression, and I had to pick up the phone and phone a clinical psychologist and ask for help. And that was hectic, coming from someone who thought he was bulletproof. And it was probably the best thing on my whole entrepreneurial journey that I did, was ask for help. And I think when you tell your true story, you know, where's it? Teresa spoke now. She said it makes you real, and people are tired of not seeing real. You know, they want to see real. This, excuse me, this crap that you see on the pictures that they show you, where they show you with a Ferrari, but they don't show you by how long it took to get the Ferrari. And everybody thinks, oh, well, this is where I can just step to the top. I can step into the Ferrari today. And I think there's something that sums it up from Lionel Messi, one of the world's top footballers. And it's a quote by him that said it took him 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success. I think it's a powerful message. So yeah, I think, you know, to entrepreneurs, I'd say tell your story. Own when you hit rock bottom, because you won't see it now, but when you look back, those will be the greatest points of learnings. And I've got a lot more to tell, but they make you stronger. And just accept it and step into it, own it, because that's who we are. be human.
Well,
That's Stephen from Dare to Be Coaching and Beyond. I had to dare to be myself. That's where it came from.
The best leadership coach in the world. What a good leader that was. Like, speaking of vulnerability, and Steven's just like, I'll show you vulnerability. That was amazing. I think that is so special. And I think that what that actually does, Mr. Levy, is it's going to encourage all the fempreneurs watching this that are like maybe feeling like, really? Like, you really want me to put myself out there and like this campaign, and you want me to talk about like the bad times and the hopefully not so bad times. Like, I think now that you basically started it, like you kind of ripped off the band-aid, and look, you're still alive. And I think people actually respect you more now for being able to tell that.
I think what hits me in the feels is, but that's my way of saying I'm emotional. You'll get over it. What really hits me in the feels is that, yes, it may, to start your entrepreneurial journey and actually really be knocked down and really get laid out, and to think you're bulletproof, just like Stephen did, and then to humble yourself, learn from that, puts you in a position of you've learned something that you can teach others. And if we have to look at Stephen Levy's journey, even within our community space, the amount of people that have actually come behind Stephen Levy and gone, well, can you teach us? Can you lead the way? And because he's actually been there, he actually can. So in my mind, if I look at all those stories, and there are many. There are many. It's not like we can just go, oh, this one person was helped, and that. There are real, genuine stories of real people with, not the fluffy stuff, the real down in the trenches kind of stuff, and that would never have happened without learning the lesson.
Pete. Sorry, I know Nikki wants to chat quickly, but as you said that now, when you share your experience or your story, as you call it, and not your service, that's when you'll teach people the greatest lesson. And it's truly, that's what we need to do, for entrepreneurs. And I think it's okay. It's okay to go down to the bottom. I think the things that not, and to honor yourself when you recognize when you're at rock bottom. Because if you didn't recognize it, I think Hendrik or Teresa said about awareness. You need to honor yourself in the awareness that you're at the bottom. Because if you don't recognize it, then it's when you just go straight down the rabbit hole, and you just continue going. So it sounds crazy, but celebrate when you've recognized that you can't go further.
I love that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Levy. And I just quickly have to say as well, like that it's home so much for me, because we both have hectic stories.
Don't look at me. I'm out of my feels already. I'm over it.
But you don't always know, like, how much of this do I actually tell? And we've told a lot, but we've also not told a whole lot. And I'm thinking about it. So I might, as part of the Fempreneur campaign, tell a bit more. But anyway, so what was really cool the other day that like reminded me of what you just did, Mr. Levy, was Matthew, another entrepreneur that we help in our network, asked Peter, so how did you, it's like they were talking about like going through difficult times as an entrepreneur. And Matthew was like, well, how did you bounce back? And Peter was literally like, he didn't hesitate. He was like, I didn't bounce, I splattered. And then I just like picked up the pieces and swept away the pieces and started. That was so real. That is something, that's a moment in my life that I will remember forever, because I was watching, obviously, like, how are you gonna, like, how did you bounce back?
Well, that and continuously like, reminds us.
So I thought that was so real and so special, and like, thank you so much for sharing all that real and special with us right here on the show. Nikki, let's hear from you, and then we'll wrap up the show for today.
Yeah, I'm sorry to talk again. I actually wasn't going to. I was going to be a good girl. But I have to add on to Stephen that, yeah, being at the bottom of the barrel, I've been there so many times, hospitalized for depression, and failed so many times, but learning from it. Well, at first I didn't, because I was like a dumbass, but then I kind of grew up a little. No, but then I grew up a little bit. I mean, I turned 50 last year, like I said to Peter the first time we chatted, and figured out kind of what I want to be when I grow up. Still not quite there, but when I tell people, and I'm really open about it, I'm actually a closet introvert. I have social anxiety. I have sensory processing anxiety, depression, ADHD, and I fake it really well, I've been told. And but it's still, and I have imposter syndrome, and I still fake it, and somehow I muddle my way through. And so, like, I've got a meeting now with Janine next week, because I've got 37 friends, literal friends, who need to be VAs, and they're like, we can't do it. And I'm like, you can, because I've done it, and I've done it for 12 years, actually. And I haven't always got it right, but then I go and learn it and go and do it better the next time. And I'm not I'm not a smart sort of spec to begin with, no education and so on to speak of, but it doesn't matter. It just matters just like putting your arm out, like with where are you, Teresa, having your hand out to hold someone, to pull someone up, and then holding your hand out the back basically to pull someone behind you, but at the same time they're holding you up at the same time. And I think that's what's important, to do that. And so for me, I don't think I'm ever going to be rich monetarily, but that doesn't actually bother me at all, because my husband does really well. So another, but I want to be successful, and what I want to be successful in is helping other people do what they need to do or want to do, and just making them feel better about it, and telling my story, or stories, many of them, and have your pity party. You can have a pity party, but you can't live in it. So take a day, live under the covers. I had one the other day, but live under the covers. Well, I think I lost it about 45 minutes, but I mean, take a day. It's okay. It's okay to feel like crap. Like, we can say crap because Stephen said crap. So he invented the toilet anyway, so it's fine. He's a sir. But yeah, just don't live in it, and just, be real, and people will they'll know that they can as well. It's the shiny people that we can't follow.
Thank you so much.
That's what I
Nikki.
wanted
That
to
is
say.
so special. That is very special. See, Mr. Levy, you already inspired a person. Like, well
But
done.
I want to say something to Nikki. Okay, please don't say you're not smart, because you don't have a degree or piece of paper behind you. That's where they say knowledge is power. Okay, that's bullshit. Applied knowledge is power. And there's nothing that, a lot of people I work with, they might be at 50 and so on, and they say, I've got to start a new venture, I've got to start a new job, and I've only got my qualification, like it's whatever they are, CA or whatever. I don't have qualifications, but they say, what about your experience? You cannot believe how many people discount their experience. Never discount your experience. It's probably the most powerful thing that you can have. Listening to your story, Nikki. Oh. I think
Maybe
knowledge,
my story and your
I'm not
story.
clever enough. Knowledge, I think, makes you intelligent. Doesn't make you smart.
I'll take that.
Thank
So
you
you are
so
smart.
much.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you beautiful humans. I think that is a stunning show. That is gorgeous. And I think if this inspiration has already happened just inside of this call, and we're live on YouTube, and we're live in our Fempreneur community right now. We have 3,500 followers and then 700 more. And who knows how many times you guys are going to share it, like how many times we're going to reach more people. Imagine the inspiration chain that we can start from this. So just thank you so, so much for everyone that has been here, for everyone that has contributed, for everyone that is going to be sharing this show. And yeah, let's get those stories written down. So I want you to go and think of what your story is, right? Go start writing it down, because that is what's going to make you the money. That's going to get you into our accelerated program for 16 weeks with coaches like Mr. Levy, like literally 11 Levys basically in different fields, expertise, fields, industries, everything. It's going to take you through this course. So I think that is something definitely worth telling your story for. And yeah, so we'll be here every single week for the rest of our lives probably.
And just because we end the live session, it's not your cue to leave. It just means it's safe to pick your nose.
Okay, so
Just gotta put that out there.
we're going to say bye to YouTube and Facebook so that Peter can conduct unsavory business in the background. Ladies and gents, we love you. Keep being the beautiful entrepreneurs that you are. Come and join us again every single week. We're here for you always. Come and connect with the most beautiful entrepreneurs from around the world. Until we see you again, may all your entrepreneurial dreams come true. Bye.